Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Next Level Healing. I'm your host, Dr. Tara Perry. And today we are having a fireside chat with my new friend, Rosalia Quintana. She is the author of Becoming Your Own Quantum Alchemist. Welcome to Next Level Healing, Rosie.
Thank you, Dr. Tara. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
Rosie is an amazing human, and I can't wait to dig into her personal story. I was on her podcast, and then she decided she wanted to dive into her subconscious mind and resolve a few things. Can you tell our listeners what it was that you were struggling with that you just thought, I really want to be done with this and move on from it? What was that experience like for you?
Absolutely. So I first came to you originally with wanting to lose weight. I was having issues. I had tried all these things, from trying to regulate my hormones to dieting to all of these things, regulating my nervous system through breathwork and somatic practices and all of these things. And I have previous experience with the subconscious mind. However, even though we are currently doing all of this inner work, I cannot express the value of having someone else do it with you because you have a gift. I will start with that. And it is an amazing God-given gift. It's literally just divine flows through you as you do your work. And you can feel that is very palpable. And the results speak for themselves. You have thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many. So, and from my personal experience, it is simply amazing. But sometimes we need someone outside of ourselves, even though we know all the answers are within and we know how to work with the subconscious mind. We also need help. So the coaches need coaches, basically.
We all have blind spots, don't we?
Yeah. So it's so beautiful to be able to experience that and create more safety in the body and allow my higher self, my soul, to speak, for me to listen. And all of the information that came through was not what I would have logically thought that I needed. So I'm just very grateful of all the information that came forward, how you helped me navigate the subconscious mind, because also to get into that realm, to name it something, you need someone that's experienced, someone that can guide you safely, somebody that knows what they're doing, and especially that they've walked the path themselves. So I know that you do this work on you daily. So, you really know that and you feel that. And at this point, once you've been doing work for so long, you just read energy off of people rather than listening to their sales pitch. And I think we've established such a beautiful relationship as friends. Like it has gone past, that client relationship. That's how I feel.
Absolutely.
And the transformation speaks for itself. The weight has started to come off. The biggest change for me was my habits. Like what I was choosing every day to eat has shifted completely. It's like you took someone else out, an older version, and you replaced it with a new version. And I think those are the hardest things for us to change, the little habits, because we're running on this automatic pilot. Like you get up in the morning, you eat the same thing, you do the same thing, and you start something new, you're excited for 3 days, 3 months, if you make it that long, and then you go back to the regular programming, right? So really reprogramming at the subconscious level, then making it conscious, and really all of this stuff, even if we use external resources to do this, is where it's useful is in our day-to-day. It's in the little things. Because all of that is what builds us up, builds the momentum, builds the aligned action. And you have helped me in many, many more ways than just weight loss. As you know, you go in to heal one thing and you end up working on everything because everything is connected. So you just alchemize so much more than just what you had originally stepped in for. So I am forever grateful. It's been a beautiful, beautiful journey guided by someone so special and so knowledgeable in their work. So I am grateful, and I recommend it to anybody that's listening. If you still have not tried Dr. Tara, You're missing out. Seriously, this is not a missing out strategy, but try it. You won't regret it. It's really beautiful and
Thank you.
transforming.
Thank you so much, Rosie. What is your experience of life like now compared to what it was before? If you could describe that backpack that you let go of, what does that feel like to not have that with you anymore?
Ease and flow.
Nice.
Hey guys, studies are showing that 68% of people that watch podcasts regularly don't click the subscribe button. Do me a huge favor. If you like this content, click subscribe so other people know where to go for the cool stuff. Thank you.
I would just simply put it that way. And it's very difficult, or it was at least for me, to step into that flow surrender state because you know how it is. Life catches you and you're that push-pull relationship with life. And it's kind of very difficult to surf the wave like a pro. So, and these are all tools that you get to keep for a lifetime. We all do. So what you're teaching is just beautiful, reminding yourself to look within, but from a different perspective with your own essence. And that's what makes it so unique, is also what you bring to the table. Because I've been working with the subconscious mind for years, for like 6 years now. But I don't have your essence, and I don't have the way that you do it, and I don't have your perception of things or the way that you guide or the way that you see things. So we have to come to a place where we're humble enough to understand that we need help too.
100%.
I don't have it all figured out. Actually, I don't have anything figured out. I'm learning as I go. And even then, there's so much of the great mystery just unfolding in front of ourselves at every moment, at every step. And encountering beautiful human beings that can hold our hand and be like, it's okay, Rosie, I got you. We're doing it together. Let's go. I've been doing this. How long have you been doing this, Tara?
Well, helping
I'm
people.
a baby compared to you.
Their health and wellness, 25 years.
Okay, so I'm like, okay, Tara, I'll grab your hand. You've been doing it for 25. I've been doing it for 6. Let's walk together. Tara's like, all right, Rosie, I got you. Let's go. And it's beautiful. You feel held. You feel safe. You feel transformed,
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
I can't thank you enough.
Aw. So I'd love to share with our listeners your journey through life, because it's an incredible story. Your book, Becoming Your Own Quantum Alchemist Master. Take us back in time, either to the beginning of your hero's journey or when you decided to write the book, whichever starting point you'd like to start sharing that with our listeners.
Sure. So beginning of my hero's journey was 2018. I got to the top of my career as a nurse practitioner, top of my salary. I had a business I owned, a medical spa, and I was extremely dissatisfied with my entire life. Personally, professionally, I got into a very deep depression that included suicide ideation and just abusing myself in every way. Addiction with my body, just everything. And I just couldn't find that purpose to get up in the morning. I had the blinders on. I couldn't see other possibilities. I got a divorce. I sold the business, but I was at a loss in the business as well, because I couldn't function in the right way. And it affected all of the areas: health, personal, spiritual, emotional, all of it. And I said, well, I can't give up. I have kids, I have a family. So what other option do I have? And then I started diving deep into breath work, meditation, energy work, the subconscious mind, everything I could get my hands on. And I said, well, at least what I could see from this is there's another way. That was like a little light at the end of the tunnel. I said, okay, there's a different way of operating, of thriving, of navigating life. I just haven't figured it out yet, but there is hope for me. So I said, okay. I knew as a nurse practitioner, coming from this Western medicine perspective, I didn't want any medications for whether it was for mental health or depression, anxiety, all these things. Because I have seen the side effects of the medications, and it's okay. And please continue taking your meds if you're listening. It's not to discourage you from taking it. And even the clients I work with, I tell them, take your meds. I'm not here to tell you to get off your meds. these are just tools and adjuncts to help you, okay? We all need help sometimes for a different amount of time. And eventually, maybe later on, you can wean off and go back, whatever works for you, right? So do not follow any medical advice on here. This is personal experience.
Absolutely.
So I decided not to go to that route. And I was just learning and understanding. I dealt a lot with plant medicine experience, with everything I could just really, I was looking to fill this void that I couldn't explain, which now looking in retrospect, I could say I was looking for source outside of myself, for love, for safety, for, in our closing session when we did it is you're always home, Rosie, you're always home in the here and now, right? But it's very difficult to understand it at an experiential level. Even if you read it in a book, even if you hear it from someone else, you have to experience it yourself to really understand it, if it makes sense.
Right, 100% on.
Yeah. So even though I had all these beautiful experiences on plant medicine and all these things, I was still looking outside.
Mm-hmm.
Outside for, and I honor every energy work modality I've ever learned, every plant medicine experience. Everything has a place and time, and everything kind of builds up to the new version that you are today. And I am very grateful for that. But it was still outside of me. And meditation was not getting me to this state I thought I should be in. I wanted more. And in 2022 came a near-death experience that I had. My wife and I were considering going back together at that time after being apart for some time because we were each working on our inner work, which I'm completely glad. Everything happened as it should. And there, can I speak to that experience?
Sure.
Yep. So we went hiking to California. She has family in California. She knows I had never gone to visit. She said, "Oh, let's go, whatever." And I love California, by the way. It's a beautiful state. And then we went hiking in a mountain. We stayed there camping. And I was just there. I remember looking at that particular night, felt like something was off. And I thought I said to her, tonight looks different. It looks darker. The stars look different. And I just thought it was because we're in the mountain, and here in Miami, you don't see that in the sky. Like, I was just like, that's nice in the mountain. Definitely looks different. I went to sleep. What I do remember going to sleep was extreme temperature changes in the body, like so cold that it felt like I had frozen bones. I know it doesn't make sense, but it was so cold that I just couldn't explain how cold I was. And it was so hot, then the extreme opposite. It was so hot that I felt like I was burning up. And next thing I know, I was outside of my body, looking out at the place where I was. And I was just looking around, extremely confused. I have never had an experience like this before. And all of a sudden, I start to see just sacred geometry all around me. I was not sure what this was. And then there's no time and space here. So I don't know how long it lasted, or just there's no time and space. It was very difficult to kind of put it into words. But at some point, I thought to myself, did I die? Oh my God, did I die? The moment I had that thought, I was pulled by this vacuum, what I could refer to as the void, maybe. I don't know if that's the appropriate word, but it felt that way. And then I was in this space where it was complete darkness. And in this darkness, I was confronted with all of my fears. Fears I didn't know I had, fears of grief, guilt, all of it. It was just like I had to go. And then what it felt like to me was that a version of me was dying every time I confronted this fear. And at some point I thought, oh my God, I didn't go to heaven. I'm in hell. I can't believe it, because I didn't know what was, I still don't understand what happened, but I was just like, this is so weird. I thought I was a good person, but see how in our psyche, in our subconscious mind, or even unconscious mind, how we don't believe we're worthy or we're good or we're, and at that point I was vibrating, I guess, at a lower state where I didn't have a certain awareness to understand different things that I do now. And even then, whatever I think I know, I really don't know anything, but at least I have a little bit of a better idea. And I was vibrating at such a like guilt and shame and anger and frustration and of course, that's kind of the same thing that was reflected back to me, my own vibratory state and my own level of consciousness. At some point after fighting, I cannot tell you how many fears I went through. I don't have a number. I can't pinpoint to that, but it felt like many. I was exhausted. And at some point I was so tired that I said, that's it, I'm done. I died. And there's nothing I could do because I was extremely angry. I didn't want to leave my wife, my kids, the world behind. I was very attached to my life, to my persona. And I said, fine, I'm done. I can't. And then I started praying. I couldn't do anything else and started to call on God. I was raised Catholic, so I don't have any particular religion. I've been through like many world religions, at least 7 of major world religions, looking for God outside of myself. So, I just started praying and asking for God to please come forward, or send me something or someone that can help me because I don't know how to get out of here. And I was very, very scared. It has been the scariest thing I've ever been through. And all of a sudden I find myself, I would say what it seems to be like inside of the earth, but it could be wrong because it felt like a sphere.
Rosie, I'm curious, when you were praying to God, what did you ask God in that moment?
To help me get out of there. Come grab me. Yeah. I'm like, I can't do this myself. I don't know how to get out of here. Please come get me. And I just started praying to God. And then it felt to me kind of like being in the middle of the earth. It was this electromagnetic field. If you want to think of like the flower of life almost, pattern-wise, just being inside of that, but it felt at the same time like I was inside the earth. And I felt at one with everything, with Mother Earth, like everything is alive. Everything has consciousness. It was just this oneness, this love. But still, even then, I still wanted God. And then when God didn't appear, I got mad, very, very mad. Mad. I started cursing at God so badly in Spanish. Extremely, the worst I've ever cursed at anyone. And I said, because you put me in this position, I blame God for everything in my life. And then God appeared, sure thing. To me, it appeared in a way, like I already mentioned, I was raised Catholic. It appeared to me as a male with a short white beard. Of course, that's not my understanding of God at this point. My understanding of God is it's everything and everyone in infinite forms and infinite dimensions. But for my consciousness to be able to understand it at that point, I believe it had to come forward in that way so I could feel safe or identify with it. So I started cursing, kept going at it, kept going. Why the suffering? Why the war? You're so unjust, like this and that. I was just, all of it. I put it out there. And God had a little bit of a semi-smile. Couldn't see his teeth or anything. Just like this. Put his hand on my shoulder. That the moment he did that, I had the answer to all of my questions. It was like an understanding, but it was 360, like it was just like it dawned in me. And at the same time, it was the highest amount of love, of bliss, of peace I have ever felt. No judgment, no, I don't know. I've never experienced anything like that in human form ever. Not even close to it. And it was just this full acceptance and unconditional love that I felt. Do you want to ask a question before I keep going? Or?
Well, it almost sounds like Yogananda's experience, an autobiography of a yogi. It's really cool.
I'll have to read it. I haven't read it yet. I'll read it because you mentioned that I believe in synchronicities. There's a message for me. So put my hand there and I felt all of this love just being engulfed in that. And then I started to see past lives, and all of these incarnations. I've been from every race, from every religion, from every continent, and many, many, many times. And so it almost looked like a holographic, I don't know, something in front of me. And it was just shifting very rapidly, like shh, 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 shh. But then I could feel and experience what that lesson was. I don't know, it just sounds very weird. It's difficult to explain. And then I was shown like a life review. I was shown, but my life review started from before incarnating. So like I was able to see that I chose my parents, the place of birth. Like I was able to see a lot of the choosings that was never in my awareness that I chose anything or that I could choose anything. Or anything that I experienced. I never thought it was possible. And one of the biggest breakthroughs for me was I was going through a difficult relationship with my dad for many years. And I was able to see how I chose to incarnate with him and with all of the side of his family, and a lot of the lessons that he was going to show me, exactly as he is, without wanting to change him, without wanting to change the events that happened. All was carefully orchestrated, if I want to, I guess, put it that way. And I couldn't see it with the eyes of love or the eyes of understanding ever, unless I was shown this. I wouldn't believe it. I'm like, BS, I would never choose that for me. And that was very healing to me. I needed that. I needed to see that. And I needed to go to all that darkness as well. I see that now.
Have you ever read Journey of the Souls?
I gotta read it. Should I write that?
There's another go out for you.
Okay, Journey of the Soul.
It talks a lot about how we choose our challenges, and then of course we go through the forgetting process, and it's just really interesting how you got glimpses of all this in this transition state that you were in. So what happened next?
I just came back with there's a lot of stuff I couldn't bring back, but it was a lot of just knowing that I'm here to serve. Be in the service of love, help one another as much as we can. And I saw glimpses of kind of like my own timeline, and I saw a little bit of glimpses of like me signing a book and stuff. And I thought to myself, I've never even written a book. What do you mean? Now I'm on my second book now. So like just little things like that didn't make any sense to me at that time. I didn't know how, when, why, none of it. I was not given any clues to anything. It was just this trust and a higher intelligence and a higher knowing.
And what was it like coming back to 3D?
Very weird.
With having glimpsed to that. What was it like getting back into your life again?
Difficult. Weird. I felt very confused. I reached out to as many teachers as I could, shamans, medicine women, psychiatrists, psychologists, you name it. I reached out to them. I told them, this happened to me. Please, can you help me? Can you give me your perspective on this? At that time, I had no idea about a lot of things. You've read so many books and your own experience as well of your own spiritual awakening, but imagine somebody that is not there yet, right? And it's just going through this awakening. And, I had already from 2018 been working on a lot of things and expanding my consciousness, but never like this. So to me, it was very difficult to integrate. So I tried to look for help. And luckily I had so much help. So every person I reached out to said, yeah, let's talk. We had several sessions with a lot of my teachers. I was able to understand it. Also learn from other people that have had similar experiences. I'm like, okay, I'm not alone. This has happened to other people, and started to kind of like piece little things here and there, and just started to feel more at ease, more normal in society. And then things have kind of fallen like a puzzle piece on their own. I haven't pushed anything, or I haven't worried about how is it going to happen, or if it's going to happen or not. So it was this idea of this needing to achieve or be or obtain or follow this carrot or this next shiny object, to like full trust, relax in the now moment. Of course, I swing off the pendulum here and there. I'm not, always in that state, but it's just this inner peace, like that void that I felt has been filled finally. And I am just grateful enough for that. I don't care, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or in the next hour, but I'm just
How long
grateful.
did it take to go from having that experience where you had glimpses of just, I guess, fulfillment and peace and understanding to feeling like that void in your life was filled?
The next morning.
Well, oh, really? Wow. Beautiful.
The next morning. The integration portion I'm still going through. That
Okay.
is still happening.
And then at what point did you decide to write a book, and what was the thing that made you realize, wow, I have to put this in writing and share it with other people?
I almost will tell you, I had never been in my awareness to write a book ever. I would have never, just like many other things that I've done since, don't make any sense to me whatsoever. I would almost tell you someone else wrote the book because it felt like I couldn't stop myself from getting on the computer and just writing my ideas down. Like just writing down, and it was almost like it was organizing itself. I don't know. It's
Wow,
really strange.
that's wonderful.
And then I would write whenever. It took me like a year to write the book.
And what have been the responses that you've gotten from other people? What's been the most surprising responses you've gotten from other people?
My family, they're like, what? I have to translate it into Spanish because they keep translating it on their own. I said, don't do that because you're going to mess up the message. It won't translate the same. Yeah, my mom asked me, like, why did you write that you were barefooted, you had shoes? I'm like, Mom, that's about connecting with the earth. That's why you can't translate things. Just wait for the translation. So there's a lot of stuff that they don't yet understand from the book. But my family, definitely, we have many people from many different religions. We have non-believers. So to all of them, seeing this perspective or seeing my perspective has been a shock. They don't understand it, of course, which is beautiful. Fast forwarding, we had our first women's circle last weekend with all the women in my family, about 12 of us. And I said, okay, we're all from a different religion. The most important thing here is to be united in love. We're not here to convince anyone of any point of view or anything or a belief of anything. Love. Sure thing. My cousin came in through the door. She did not want to be there. She came to drop off her mom and her sister. She said, I am not going to be a part of that because you're not going to tell me how to live my life. Beautiful. That's okay. That was not the plan of the circle, but that's okay. She walked in through the door and she had just been hospitalized the day prior. I said to her, come have a seat, have a glass of water. She said, no, I don't want to be a part of this. I said, that's okay. We're just going to talk to you for a moment and you can leave. You don't have to say it. It's fine. And then I just felt this calling. I don't know. It's weird to put my hand on her chest. And she just started weeping. And and then I put her right in the middle of the center of the circle. I sat her down and all of us next to her. And then I said, okay, one by one, we're going to come and we're going to say something to you. Just close your eyes and receive the love that we have for you. And without any preparation, any knowing, any convincing, any nothing, forcing, she received, I think, one of the most powerful healing sessions I have ever seen.
Wow.
And so much love that she, I don't know. You just can't make up this stuff. This is source working through each of us, through each of my family members. It's a ripple effect. We affect our community. The relationship with my wife, with my child has changed. the way I see the world, the way I see myself. I cannot judge another soul. I just can't. Even if you've been a murderer, even if you've been, I just can't. Because I was able to see in other lifetimes, I've done things that I am not proud of, things that I thought I would never do. Yes, I did. So I can't say no, you know? So yeah, it's been quite a ride, which I'm still writing. So I don't know. Yeah.
Like Thich Nhat Hanh's poem says, call me by my true names. Like we have all been everything to everybody else. And I love that you talk about in your book the illusion of time and reality being illusion. How do people find your book?
On Amazon, also on my Instagram, Quantum Alchemist Master. You have all the links there to all the offerings, the books, and everything else.
So Instagram is the best place for people to interface with you?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. And we'll put that in the show notes as well. So if you had a, one of those loudspeakers and could speak to the whole world, what would you like to say to them in 5 minutes?
Look within. Quiet the outside noise and look within. Remember your heart connection, your connection to your soul, your connection to source within yourself.
Beautiful.
That's it. My 5 minutes are up. Just that.
No, I'm feeling it right now. It's just very calming, very centering, very loving. Beautiful message. Rosie, thank you so much for being here on Next Level Healing today. I have totally enjoyed this, and I wish you all the success with your book. And folks, please click like and subscribe so that more people can find this interview. And we'll see you on the next episode of Next Level Healing.
Thank you.
This podcast is intended for the purpose of providing information and education. It does not provide advice and is not meant to be used for any self-diagnosis or the replacement of any kind of licensed professional. The creators and individuals appearing here do not endorse any specific tests, positions, medications, products, or procedures. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.